Okay, what I'm going to attempt to do today is a side-by-side comparison of two different fire starters. The one on the left is the Wetfire, and the one on the right is the Coghlans Tinder. So you can see what those look like. Waterproof replacement tinder for Coghlans number 8647 Tinder kit. Each piece burns 5 to 7 minutes, non-toxic and odorless. See if that comes into clear view there. And the other is Wetfire Tinder, and this all-weather tinder they refer to it as. And there are 5 in the pack versus 10 tinders in the Coghlans. Works with any fire starting device. For best performance, use with UST Sparky, UST Blast Match, UST Strike Force. Okay. Okay, so let's take a moment to prep each for spark. Alright, we'll start with the Coghlans. Now you just flatten this out. Has somewhat of a waxy, oily feel to it. You can see some of the fibers coming off. That's okay, because it's going to be the fibers that help the flame initiate. Okay, I'm trying to flatten this out as per directions. And let's see if we can flatten it out. Yeah. And tear it. Okay. Try to get as many of the fibers exposed and visible as possible. Okay, we'll just set that there. And for the Wetfire tinder, take that, and you take your knife, and you get some loose shavings on the top. That should help spark the catch. Let's see if we can do this. That didn't help matters very much. But then again, perhaps those are some of the problems that you may encounter when you're actually trying to ignite that. I don't know if that's fair, because the flame was burning already, so we might have to try that again. It's possible that the Coghlans had a unfair advantage, but those are some of the issues that you may encounter when trying to do an experiment. Today is a fairly calm day, so I wasn't expecting any wind or anything to influence the flame in either direction or another. I was hoping for a more linear flame, but let's just use this as an example and see how things go. Well, it clearly seems as if the Wetfire has a more vigorous flame, and even if experiments don't go quite as planned, there's always something to be learned from them. Definitely a much more vigorous flame from the Wetfire, and it definitely seems as if it's going to last a lot longer. Now, I don't know whether or not the prep on the Coghlans Tinder on this one was adequate, but it certainly was adequate enough to get a flame going. But in terms of maximizing the life of the particular tinder, I don't know. Well, it looks as if the Coghlans has gone out for the most part. It's a very minute flame still existing there. Let's see if we can. No, doesn't want to zoom in on that. It's not quite dead yet. You can still see it glowing a little bit. A lot of smoke coming from it now. So it may have truly exhausted itself by now. There's still a minute flame on the Wetfire tinder, and the Coghlans is still smoking and still has some ember there. And it looks as if the Wetfire has, I don't see any more flame from that. I will consider them both extinguished at this point, since I cannot positively identify any flame coming from either of them. And I will use the timestamps on the video to make a determination as to the burn time. Now, simply because the Coghlans may not have lasted quite as long as the Wetfire, which there seems to be perhaps some unburned material there. The Coghlans seem mostly used up in comparison. I wouldn't discount the Coghlans simply because it didn't burn quite as long. There could be added value due to the cost, and as well as the weight of it. You have 10 tenders versus 5 more cheaply, and if you want to do some serious accounting, it might be better to determine burn time per whatever unit you wish to use. Burn time per dollar, burn time per ounce, and make a determination as to which one may suit you better. Tinder or Wetfire. Yeah, this was just an ad hoc experiment, just to see exactly what the burn times were comparatively. And I hope you guys got some useful information out of this. Just food for thought, and perhaps in the future I'll do some more experiments on them. The one thing about Wetfire I understand is that you can probably use it to cook with, but I don't know, I've never done so. So perhaps that might be another experiment. Alright, thanks for watching, and questions, comments, concerns, observations, always welcome. And just let me know what you guys think about this little ad hoc experiment. Thanks, bye bye.